Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United travelling to West Ham in the Premier League. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith. Joe.
Yes.
Right, look, it's been difficult, yeah? We've had a decent win against Brentford. You're happy. Then you have another disappointing draw in Europe. It's all a bit meh. So, don't want to dwell on too much on the negatives, but let's just look forward. Yeah? Let's look forward to this game. And let's try and talk about, not just be all positive and happy-clappy, but look at maybe what we can look forward to. One thing that has improved over the last few weeks, and someone who does seem to be sort of doing the job he's asked to do, unlike some of his teammates, is Andre Onana.
Yep.
So we'll ask you a little bit about him. He had a very good game against Fenerbahce. I think he's having a decent season. A few weeks ago, we sat here and I said to you, he's got to kick on this season. He had a bit of an up and down one in his first season. He has to deliver this season. And I think so far he has.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I think the Liverpool performance is the only one where I look at it and go, you probably should have done better for a few of the goals there.
Yeah.
But I think more often than not this season he's been very good. And it just goes to show, doesn't it? Like, when you give a keeper who is very good with his feet, maybe isn't the best shot stopper in the world, but is pretty good, when you give him less shots to save, he looks better. Like, we have more clean sheets. I think we're top or second top in the clean sheets. I think him in particular has had the fewest or the most clean sheets this season. I think Liverpool have had more, but that's been spread over two goalkeepers. And partly that's because of him, but partly it's because we're conceding less shots, so we get to see the best of him a bit more. And with his feet, I think he's exceptional. I do think he's really very good. And his composure and his willingness to accept the ball. Maybe he's not quite at that sort of Edison level of, best of his generation at the ball with his feet, but he's certainly the best United goalkeeper I've seen with the ball at his feet. I think he's very good at that, and it's good to give people credit and praise when they deserve it, especially when they had so much stick last season. So yeah, for me, Andre Onana has been very good this season, and I'm not even, there'd be times last year where you're sort of worried about him, or when they get through you think, oh god, here we go. But this season he's done enough against Tottenham. There's times where players are through one-on-one with him, a couple of brilliant saves against Fenerbahce, as you said, in the week. I just think he's a very good keeper, and if you can help hide some of his weaknesses by not making him take, shot after shot after shot all the time, he can show that he's a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he is a very good goalkeeper. Get involved in the chat in the comments, let us know what you think. Scoring goals has been a bit of an issue for Manchester United, but we did score a couple against Brentford. And to be fair, the front three looked on it, didn't they? Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund in that game in particular looked like they were linking up well. We saw, obviously, sort of Rashford assisting for Garnacho, Bruno involved as well, good finish from Højlund. How important is it for United, if we are going to move up that table, that these three players, I don't want to say keep scoring, but because they've either been prolific, but get amongst the goals.
Yeah, we need. Every team needs that. I know that people are obsessed with stats and tactics and systems and formations and all that, but what wins you games is the ball going in the back of the net, and there's a reason why almost all the most expensive players of all time are forwards, because that's, when it comes down to it, the thing that wins you matches and trophies. So, they have to keep doing it. I think Bruno has had so much stick this season, and I'm not saying that he's out of this bad form completely yet, but I think against Brentford he was very good, and I just think that you just give him time and he's going to show you the player that he is. We know what player he is. He's been here long enough. He's been doing this 4 or 5 years at United now, and then the previous handful of years at Sporting as well, where he's just putting up these crazy numbers. He's a top player. He's a great player. He is probably United's best player since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. So we don't need to constantly dissect and work out what he is and what he isn't, and does he work and should he go. I just think give him a bit of time to get his form back, and he will. The front three in front of him are the ones that we need to see proof of, what are these guys. I think Rashford, we know what he can do, he's just got to do it. Højlund, every time I see him at the minute, he's impressing me. I think his centre-forward play is improving a lot. Garnacho, a little bit wasteful, but he's getting the numbers. So keep it going, and someone needs to sort of explode now. That's the thing, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like Højlund, if he can turn it on and get 25 this season, or if Garnacho can get 20, or all of them can get 15, 16 each, we might have a chance at top 4 even. But otherwise, like I said at the start, it's the biggest position on the pitch. If you're not scoring goals, it don't matter who the manager is. If your players don't score, you're not going to win games. So Bruno's a big part of that, and hopefully he can carry on the form that we saw against Brentford.
100%. With that being said, then let's talk about predicted 11s. This is the 11s, or this is the team you think Erik ten Hag will pick for the trip to the London Stadium. So just talk us through it and talk us through your thinking.
Yeah, I think we'll go with Onana in goal. It just is, isn't it? Like, I've gone with Mazraoui at left back because I think in the Fenerbahce game, once we made those substitutions, Mazraoui went from being the number 10 and he came back into the defence. And unlike pretty much every other performance where we've seen him and Dalot together, it was the other way around. Yeah. And Mazraoui was left back and Dalot was right back. And I think that gets the best out of Dalot. And I think, unfortunately, of the two, he is the more mistake-prone player. So for me, you need to, again, like with Onana, you need to mask Dalot's mistakes by putting him in his favoured position. Get Mazraoui on the left-hand side. They can both play both sides, but you lose more by putting Dalot out there, I think, than by putting Mazraoui out there, certainly from what we saw against Fenerbahce. And I think obviously the centre backs kind of pick themselves. The midfield's a tricky one. We haven't really got many players. We've got 4 fit midfielders, and 3 of them are probably going to play. So Bruno obviously has to play, and I think it probably will be Casemiro and Eriksen because it doesn't seem to trust Ugarte in the big games just yet. And I thought he was decent against Fenerbahce, but I think we'll probably see those 3 in the midfield. And in terms of a front 3, I want to see something a little bit different, but he doesn't seem to trust Ahmad. I mean, obviously, we still, as we record this, we don't know the extent of Antony's injury. I don't think he would have started anyway. But I think he likes, we saw it last season, we're seeing it this season now, people are fit again. He likes Rashford, Højlund, Garnacho, and I think we'll see that.
I agree with a lot of what you said there, to be honest with you. In terms of what I think the manager's going to do, I think he'll stick with the lower left back, and I think it'll be Mazraoui at right back. Obviously, the 2 centre backs are the same. In midfield, I think he might give Ugarte a start here. I think he might just go, okay, in that midfield against West Ham, I'm going to stick Ugarte in. He's shown me enough now.
Do you think he'll say, Ugarte, you start?
I think that's exactly what I'll say.
Pull him to one side and say, I've been working on it. Ugarte, you start. I think, and everyone will stand up. Round of applause.
Gaffer.
Extend his contract. 5-year deal.
Still got it, man. This guy, man.
This is
honestly, do you know what?
This guy, Ten Hag, he is a laugh.
He's he's a laugh. He's so good.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So I'm going, Ugarte, Christian Eriksen as the stacks is our most important player right now. Bruno Fernandes, right. I'm not even being facetious with that one. Bruno Fernandes, he's going to obviously start in it. He'll come back into the team. For the front 3, I've got Rashford, Højlund and Garnacho. I liked Rashford on the right and Garnacho on the left. And against Brentford, I don't often say that, but it worked, so I wouldn't be surprised if he stuck with that. Get involved in the chat in the comments, let us know what you think. West Ham, hello, is that West Ham? They're not going to have Mohamed Kudus. He got sent off against Spurs. They're a bit funny, aren't they, West Ham? Because they obviously got battered by Spurs. I think they beat Ipswich not long ago, but also they've had a bit of a poor run. They're 15th at the minute. They concede a lot of goals, West Ham. I mean, they have scored a decent amount, but they do concede a lot. And they have that air of a bit like United in the sense of you don't quite know what you're going to get with it.
No. Do you know the problem with West Ham is? They got rid of a decent manager and replaced him with a bad manager.
Lopetegui.
People have heard of him and know that he managed Spain and know that he managed Real Madrid, and the whole Spain to Real Madrid thing was a bit of a shit show, and people felt a bit sorry for him the way that sort of all kind of unfolded. But he's not a very good manager. He did all right with Sevilla. I think he won the Europa League, didn't he? So fair enough. But since that, it's been crap. He wasn't good enough at Wolves. He wasn't good enough at Spain. He wasn't good enough at Real Madrid. He's not good enough now. And I think the way that West Ham fans and the media treated David Moyes at West Ham, and I'm not someone who particularly loves David Moyes, especially after what happened at Man United, I think it was an absolute joke. And we speak about it all the time. Like he won a European trophy with them, pushed them into Europe to get there in the first place, then won a European trophy, then took them into the Europa League. And all the time they were talking about him, he should go. And the only reason that West Ham fans thought they were good enough to deserve a better manager than David Moyes is because David Moyes got them there in the first place. Yeah. Oh, mate, you're so shit, you can't make us better than you've made us, which is actually the best we've been in about 40 years. And I just think it's ridiculous. So I'm not saying we're going to beat them because of that, but I just think Lopetegui won't be here by Christmas. And I think that they made a bad decision getting rid of David Moyes when he was someone that actually made them a proper team for once. So, West Ham are a decent side, and we tend to struggle away from home against them. But I'm not particularly impressed or concerned by Lopetegui's tactics. I just don't think he's that good.
No, I agree. And I think David Moyes Does deserve a bit more credit. I get, as fans, you want to see better football or more entertaining football, or whatever. But also, you have to have a bit of realism there.
Yeah.
Look what David Moyes did. And when you talk about managers winning the first trophy in 4 years, or whatever, and taking Europe consistently when you've always struggled with that, when you've tried bringing in Manuel Pellegrini, whatever, and you've had to bring David Moyes back. Just sometimes you've got to admit defeat.
And also, when the people say you want trophies, that's the main thing, and he brought that, but then you want better football as well. You think, what teams actually are there that you think you're going to emulate by winning trophies and playing good football? How many teams are there that actually do that? City? Liverpool? United? Maybe? We win. Yeah, obviously, we finish higher than West Ham, but the football hasn't been amazing. Like, genuinely, who do they think they're going to be that wins trophies and plays good football? Arsenal don't even win trophies. I just think, you get rid of David Moyes. Who are you trying to become here? Because that team you're looking for doesn't really exist. I just think it's this thing that people always want more. I think just be happy that you're actually winning stuff.
Be happy in thine own self. With all that being said, then, before I ask you actually for your score prediction, film yourself. It's all right. Film yourself in landscape, 30 seconds with your score prediction, and send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com, and we will use that as part of our pre-match build-up for the watch-along. With all that being said, give me your score prediction, my brother.
I've got a feeling we're going to win this, and I think that we're good enough to win. If we start playing properly, we can win this game quite comfortably. I'm going to say 2-0 Manchester United. What are you saying?
I like it. I think this will be Lopetegui's last game as West Ham manager, and we'll win 4-0.
Love that.
Have a bit of that.
Love that.
Get involved in the chat in the comments and let me know how deluded you think I am. Make sure you go and follow Joe on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Motti. This has been a preview for Hello, Is That West Ham? Thanks for watching.